Hey there, my amazing royal watchers. I hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. Welcome to another episode of Untold Royal Secrets. It's your favorite royal critic back here again with some absolutely explosive news that has royal watchers everywhere buzzing with excitement. We've all been waiting for someone within royal circles to finally put Meghan Markle in her place. And it looks like the Duchess of York, good old Fergie, has finally had enough of our favorite spotlight-hungry former actress. The gloves are off, and the truth about the so-called Duchess of Sussex is finally being exposed by someone who knows exactly what it's like to navigate the challenges of royal life. So now, what's the latest bombshell in the Sussex saga? Well, it appears that Sarah Ferguson, who initially maintained a diplomatic stance toward Meghan, has been harboring some serious grievances that are now bubbling to the surface. Let's dive deep into this royal feud that exposes Meghan's true character and Fergie's growing frustration with Harry's Hollywood wife. The relationship between Fergie and Meghan started out cordially enough. They first met back in October 2016 at Royal Lodge in Windsor, where Prince Harry, apparently eager to have his new girlfriend meet one of the more relatable royals, facilitated the introduction. In fact, it was Fergie who stepped in to teach Meghan how to curtsy properly when the Queen unexpectedly appeared. A basic royal protocol that Meghan admitted she knew nothing about because she had done no research on the royal family when she started dating Harry. Just let that sink in for a moment. This woman, who would later claim she was silenced and trapped by the institution, couldn't even be bothered to Google basic royal protocols before meeting the monarch. Instead of preparing herself for life in one of the world's oldest institutions, she relied on last-minute instructions from Fergie. The sheer entitlement and lack of respect for the family she was entering is absolutely staggering. Meghan later recounted this moment in that infamous opera interview, saying, "I thought that was part of the fanfare. I don't think that's what happens inside." And I said, "But it's your grandmother." "He goes, it's the Queen." She then had to learn how to curtsy very quickly with Fergie's help outside Royal Lodge explaining right in front of the house. We practiced and ran in. Fergie ran out and said, "Do you know how to curtsy?" Apparently, I did a very deep curtsy. I don't remember it. And then we sat there and we chatted. Harry also described this moment in his victimhood manifesto. Spare writing, Fergie came outside somewhat aflutter and said, "Do you know how to curtsy?" Me shook her head. Fergie demonstrated once Meg imitated her. Now, initial awkwardness aside, the breaking point in the relationship appears to have come when Harry and Meghan committed perhaps the ultimate social faux pas, announcing their pregnancy on Princess Eugenie's wedding day, according to the book Royals at War, written by investigative journalists Dylan Howard and Andy Tillett. Fergie was absolutely fuming at this blatant attempt to steal the spotlight from her daughter on her special day. The book states Meghan put her foot in it when she decided that it would be the ideal moment to announce that she and Harry were expecting their first child. The authors added that this was a huge social no, stealing the limelight from Eugenie, who was furious, as was her mother, Sarah. Can you imagine the selfishness required to make such an announcement at someone else's wedding? It's breathtakingly self-centered, even by Meghan's standards. Now, I know many of you be like, "But Ben, there are no kids." Those kids are fake. And for that, I would say I hear you, but let's assume for the sake of discussion, those ghost kids are real. The timing couldn't have been more calculated to draw attention away from Eugenie and redirect it to the Sussexes. The official announcement was made by Kensington Palace at 8:40 a.m. On Fergie's 59th birthday, coinciding with Sarah's tweet thanking her dress designer for the outfit she wore at Eugene's wedding, is the royal equivalent of announcing your engagement at someone else's wedding reception. Utterly tasteless and completely disrespectful, Fergie's reaction spoke volumes. She flooded social media with posts praising her daughter and new son-in-law, conspicuously omitting Harry or Meghan from her acknowledgments. The message was crystal clear. This behavior was unacceptable even for someone who has experienced her own share of royal controversies. What's particularly telling is Fergie's recent admission that she does not really know Meghan. "This is diplomatic royal speak, for I want nothing to do with this woman." For someone like Sarah Ferguson, who has maintained close relationships with most members of the royal family, despite her own ups and downs, to distance herself so publicly from Meghan speaks volumes about the true character of the Duchess of Sussex. Let's contrast this with how Fergie has always spoken about Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Even during her own difficult times, Fergie has consistently praised Catherine's grace, dignity, and dedication to the royal family. She recognizes in Catherine what Meghan lacks: a genuine commitment to service rather than self-promotion, a willingness to put the institution above personal ambition, and the grace to handle criticism without playing the victim. Fergie's relationship with Prince William and Catherine has grown warmer in recent years, with the Duchess of York being included in more family gatherings and events. Meanwhile, her relationship with the Sussexes appears to have cooled considerably since their departure from royal life, another indication of where her loyalties lie. Of course, in public, Fergie maintains a diplomatic stance, saying things like, "I don't believe that any single person has the right to judge another person, and I have been judged all my life, and I have no judgment on the Sussexes." But reading between the lines, particularly when she says things like, "Your actions speak louder than words." When asked what advice she would give to Harry and Meghan, the message is clear. She sees through the Sussex facade. What makes Ferg's implicit criticism particularly powerful is that she's been in Meghan's shoes. She knows what it's like to marry into the royal family and struggle with the scrutiny and expectations. She knows what it's like to face criticism from the press and public. She knows what it's like to make mistakes and have to rebuild your life afterward. But unlike Meghan, Fergie never abandoned her family connections, never trashed the institution on American television, and never played the victim while living in extraordinary privilege. Instead, Fergie has shown remarkable resilience, rebuilding her life and career while maintaining respectful relationships with the royal family, particularly the late Queen Elizabeth Roman II, who reportedly considered her a favorite despite their ups and downs. She has shown what true grace under pressure looks like, something Meghan could learn a great deal from if she weren't so convinced of her own superiority. It's particularly telling that Fergie was invited to so many royal events in recent years, including the late Queen's funeral, while Harry and Meghan have become increasingly isolated from the family they've repeatedly attacked. This speaks volumes about how the royals value loyalty, discretion, and the ability to work through difficulties without public drama, qualities the Sussexes seem to lack entirely. When discussing the Sussexes' infamous opera interview, Fergie carefully framed her response, saying, "I'm a great supporter of opera and everything that she does. I wouldn't presume to give advice to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, except to say to be happy." Notice how she praises opera but doesn't actually endorse what was said in the interview. That's classic royal diplomacy that says everything while appearing to say nothing. Fergie also frequently mentions that Princess Diana would have been proud of her grandchildren, including Archie and Lily. But is this really an endorsement of Harry and Meghan's behavior, or is it simply acknowledging that Diana would love her grandchildren regardless of their parents' choices? I think we all know the answer to that. The sad truth is that Diana would likely be heartbroken by the division Harry has created within the family. She might have had her own struggles with the institution, but she never abandoned her sense of duty to the British people or her commitment to her sons' futures within the monarchy. She would certainly not have encouraged Harry to air private family grievances on American television, or to publish a tell-all memoir that damages the institution his brother will one day lead. What's particularly ironic about Meghan's relationship with Fergie is that Sarah Ferguson could have been her greatest ally and mentor in navigating royal life. Fergie knows better than anyone the pitfalls of royal life, the pressure of media scrutiny, and the challenges of finding your place within the institution. But instead of learning from Fergie's experiences and mistakes, Meghan seemingly dismissed her as irrelevant to her grand plans for modernizing the monarchy. That dismissive attitude toward those who could have helped her speaks volumes about Meghan's character. She didn't want guidance. She wanted adoration. She didn't want to learn. She wanted to teach. Well, that's all for today. We will see you next